for this back-to-back?
We don't know what tomorrow is going to be. We know he'll play tonight, and we'll assess him after the game.
Who are you starting tonight?
The regulars and Joel.
Brett, so what's going to be the deciding factor for tomorrow?
Just how he responds after the game.
What would say? I know you're talking about how he responds, but like, what are the boxes that he has to tick? So.
The medical staff has a series of them that they go through to judge, is it wise for us to play him in a back-to-back? And like I said, we'll be able to better judge that after the game.
Given that there's the possibility maybe of him playing in a back-to-back, do you monitor his, and I'm not going to say restrict, do you monitor his minutes more tonight?
Not really. No, we'll play him, and then we'll judge it after.
What changes for you with Roberson now down for Oklahoma City?
Well, they have enough other able soldiers to come in and, fill his type of role. I mean, he was elite defensively. He was also somebody that we would look to foul and put to the line, like when he was in the bonus. So right. That is something that, we're not going to do. From a strategical standpoint, we're always sort of aware of that. But in general, he's such a good athlete and such a good defensive player and so accepting of his role. You can see the value that he gave them. It reminded me of Bruce Bowen with the Spurs years ago. He could, shoot a corner three and guard his tail off. And they're going to miss that.
Do you buy in at all to any of the trash talk that went on in the first game, lingering into this one tonight?
I don't even know. I kind of know what you're saying, but I really, don't know details. It's true. I'm a social media hermit.
When you look at the way you guys are playing now, how anxious are you to try to correct the turnover situation? Because all of a sudden you're looking at maybe having home court in the first round if you continue playing that way, but
Yeah.
So how anxious are you to get that turnover thing cleaned up by the end of it?
I think it's real, but on so many levels it's so overblown.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody got like a raw number, and it's just so much deeper than that. And at the end of the day, we can talk about we play with the second fastest pace. We pass the most in the NBA. We're second in assists. Like the ball moves.
Yeah.
But the real truth is anytime you have youth. Go back and look at Russell his first few years. Go back and look at Derrick Rose. Go back and look at Anthony Davis, the bigs. Ben and Joel are fifth and sixth in the NBA in turnovers, and you're going to have to take some pain with that. Now, I'm always pulling my hair out on the sideline because it is so haunting. It does hurt us. But, you've learned that I think several of the teams that led the team in fewest turnovers didn't make the playoffs. And, Golden State is second in turnovers. So somewhere out there, you try to do a good job as a coach and understand they're not good. But I don't think at times they're as horrible or not justified as correctly as they should be.
Steven Adams fouled out the last game. How important is it for Joel to be aggressive and that be part of his mindset to get that advantage?
I mean, Joel is always aggressive, and I think that Steven is one of the elite players in the NBA. He's one of my personal favorites. I understand, his background. I coached in New Zealand for a year a long time ago. I understand the history of his family. And from afar, when you just watch what he does in the commitment that he has and in the role that he plays, I mean, that is a man. And he plays with such a tenacity and a spirit. Even yesterday, watching him, mess with Drummond a little bit on the free throw line and so committed going to offensive rebounds and such a fierce screen setter to free up all those, all-stars. And I just think that when you judge Steven Adams, you see a man, you see a committed physical NBA veteran, and he's a challenge for anybody.
What do you make of the fact that he's the only player in the NBA higher offensive rebound rate than defensive rebound rate? A lot of that has to do with because he just boxes guys out and other guys get free uncontested rebounds. But what's it say about a guy like that who's able to be that type of defensive rebounder and not necessarily care if he's the one pulling down those boards?
I mean, he just accepts his role. and he always has accepted his role. And it goes back to what the answer I just gave with Joel about Joel's mentality of being physical, and like you can't help but get into that type of sort of warfare when you're playing against Steven. And he invites contact, he doesn't shy away from it. He will hit first, he's got live feet, he's got live legs, he's got a motor get up and down the floor. He could be on the perimeter running in, and Paul could shoot a three, or Melo could shoot a three, and he's not going to just accept I'm 30 feet from the basket. He's going to try to give somebody a little jab step and try to make them hit you, make them box you out, and all over the place. Like, that's why he's elite at what he does. He accepts what he does, and as I said right from the very first sentence, I'm a personal fan. I always have been.
What does it take for a young guard to be successful, whether he's a rookie or a second-year player in the league? And I ask that specifically in terms of Terrence Ferguson having to step in and play for Andre Roberson.
I mean, you can go global and just talk about habits and professionalism. You can go granular and you can talk about a studied approach to what the game plan is and the details of called plays and what's your role. I think holistically I would go sort of global. I would stick to looking at the pros that he's around. He's lucky to be in that locker room with serious pros, people that have achieved gold medals and all-star games, and to study them. I think that there's a forgiveness that everybody has to have when you're telling us, they're 19, 20, 21 years old. That's all I've coached really since I've been in Philadelphia, and it's different. It's not Timmy, Tony, and Mono anymore. And, all that stuff wrapped up with Terrence. I'm aware of him in Adelaide. I'm friends with his coach and coached in that league for 17 years. And so the history that he has had in the Australian League and his personal growth here in America and with Oklahoma City, all those types of things come to my mind.
Obviously, different role, Tony being a young guard with the Spurs and Terrence, what he's about to do. But what did you see, or did you see anything in particular in Tony that gave you an indication that he'd be prepared to play a contributing role as a young guard?
I mean, Tony's path and Terrence are completely different. It's a little bit like Dario's. People have no idea the European system where they play against men, since they're 16 years old, and they play with a 24-second shot clock their whole life. And if you just take those two types of things and then you bring somebody to the NBA, it's an advantage. You're used to playing against two very, things that are very apparent to our league. And so, Terrence goes to Australia for a year, which is a good thing, but Tony had a history of playing against these types of people. And I think that Terrence is such a, flyer and a pogo stick and a shooter that side of it is different also than just saying you're an NBA point guard. Like, it's different positions. And I feel like Terrence has been a good pick. Sam did his homework, as he always does. And I think that he's really got an exciting future.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you. Thanks.